It was a show for the Israelis. Why? If you noticed in the war room where Bibi and his generals were getting ready and pushing buttons, the videos had multiple camera angles. The Air Force turning screws and getting ready in preparation. Multiple camera angles. The planes coming back. Our brave pilots coming out of the planes. All these camera shots, all these camera angles. It's a show. It's a production. And then the defense minister comes out and gives a talk. He's boasting, he's showing off that we failed to react to 220 plus missiles. And then he gives his beautiful soundbite that he's probably been waiting to use of a fire in the Middle East. A fire that the whole Middle East will see. Beautiful. Of course, that fire is the attack on fuel storage facilities, which will burn for several days. So it's choreography. We've seen it before. So we'll start with my favorite. 2019. Hezbollah attacked from the north. And what did the IDF do? They carried out a fake evacuation of fake injured soldiers using fake blood. And a helicopter to evacuate these fake injured soldiers in order to make Hezbollah think that they had a direct hit. And for some reason, the media loved it. As if laying in the fetal position and making believe you're hurt so that the enemy won't keep hitting you is an ingenious strategy. An ingenious strategy for the fourth strongest army in the world, according to US News and World Reports, against a terrorist organization. In another case, where the IDF tells us about its operational targets hit, and they tell us 500 today, and we scream, great, give us 600 tomorrow. Well, they revealed what one of them was, what they call an operational target. It was a bench in Gaza that terrorists had apparently used in the past for a meeting. That's an operational target, and they feed it to us, and we accept it. And what else have we seen? We've seen the IDF conducting, or Shin Bet, conducting intelligence operations when they should be doing military operations. They've done it in hospitals, in Jenin, in Hebron. And they tried to do it in Gaza, but didn't work out so well a few years back. Where they send soldiers in disguise, undercover. They send them in as doctors and patients. And they even run around schlepping wheelchairs. And when they do this, they take on more risk. Because when you run and do a clandestine operation, you don't have as much backup. You have a lot of moving parts. As opposed to a military, heavy-handed operation, where you have unlimited supplies. You have unlimited reinforcements. So why do they do it? It's the same reason that we always come back to. They're afraid of the perception. They're afraid of the West. They're afraid of Oslo and how it's going to look if the IDF is running operations within PA territory. So does our enemy sense fear? They don't need to. They could just pay attention and they see it oozing out of our operations. And it's not necessarily a fear of that enemy. We have no doubt about our capabilities and our soldiers and our weapons to destroy these bands of terrorists. What we're calling now a multi-front war, and it reminds us of wars in the past, but it's a misnomer, it's not. Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis and whatever other groups we have, the smaller groups in Iraq and Syria and others in Gaza, they combine for 0 airplanes and 0 tanks. So we know we could remove these enemies. Why don't we? Because we're afraid of the United States, and we're afraid of the West, and we're afraid of the civilian toll that it would take to remove these enemies, and afraid that that would leave Israel in international isolation. So that is the real war. That is why we use chalk to make our red lines. That is why we ignore missiles and rockets and bullets and stones. And we ignore sanctions and we ignore embargoes. And that is why the day after this fantastic, as Twitter calls it, this fiery, glorious response, we still have rockets towards Eilat and towards Sfat. So Mr. Israeli, if the Houthis weren't fooled and Hezbollah isn't fooled, why are you fooled?